scumbags are all around.
Depending on when you started to socially distance
She says it's
yourself.
easier to keep her head down.
We practice safe distancing here at Rebel Scum Podcast. I'm James, and I'm joined today with a few other scumbags. First, we got Brock. Brock, what up?
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Happy St. Patrick.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. You're wearing green. Oh, I should get my green shirt on. It's a Christmas shirt. Do you think that flies on St. Patrick's Day?
No.
All right. And also, the most Irish one of us all, Andrew Fantasia's here. Andrew, what up?
I forgot that it's St. Patrick's Day. My ancestors are spinning in their graves. Hey, what's up? I heard a really funny anecdote last night that I thought I'd share with all of you regarding this lockdown, where somebody said if you're under quarantine, just be sure to leave a bunch of audio logs chronicling your journey throughout your house so that in the future people can come and find your logs piece by piece and collect the achievement for finding all the collectibles. So let's do that. Let's make sure that future gamers
Love it.
have something to look forward to.
Love it. Fantastic. Aaron Brockovich. In reference to Brock being here. It's just to keep your head down. Hey, Dale. Hey, Charlie. Hey, Rachel. People slowly coming in on their lunch break. This show is all about
You went to work?
Some people had to work. Some people are working from home, Brock. I am one of those people. I was sending emails and working on script writing all morning. And now I'm here to hang out with you fools listening to F105 and Star Wars talk. Also, I got to point out right away, my internet is usually terrible, but today it is extra terrible. And when I called my internet provider, I got the number you're trying to reach is no longer in service message. I called another internet provider, a big internet provider in Canada. I got the exact same message from them.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so everybody has shut down. So if the internet craps on us, we do apologize. We will be reading the chat frequently, so just keep the chat going. Jeffrey Watson has made it. Hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, Jeffrey Watson.
So anyway, today, Brock's saying hi. I cut him off. Well, I cut him off.
If I seem distracted, it's because I'm literally doing my taxes simultaneously.
When are taxes due? At the end of April?
I think so, yeah. The place I go to usually has just walk-ins, which make it easier, but not anymore. So now I'm just sending them photos.
Oh, yeah. I guess you kind of have to do it all online this year, probably.
I use TurboTax online for free, so...
It's TurboTax.
Yeah, I don't.
Nobody loves you, Booster.
Nobody likes you, Booster. Here's the thing. I hate I hate being near people regularly anyway. So I'm built for this. The digital copies, the gas station. I pay with tap. Although I had to get a new card because the tap stopped working because I tap it. I don't touch money. We talked about it yesterday. You know, every bill you touch, that's probably like 10,000 poo particles that you're coming in contact with. So the world is coming up, James, right now. We got to get the Purell out and have a great time. Also, if you're one of these D-bags who bought like 10,000 units of hand sanitizer and Amazon will let you sell it now, good.
James, does that mean you don't want to go to the dump with me and rife around for scraps and treasures?
Yeah, please. That's all I want is other people's germs. Four-leaf clover also uses TurboTax. They know what's up because TurboTax is awesome and free, and you just fill it online. And it's done in like 2 seconds. You get a thing in the mail being like, "Yep, you're good." I'm like, "Yay!" If I mail, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's an email because who does anything? I think things are going to be changing. Everything's going to be virtual going forward. Andrew, you have to start promoting the ebook of Side Scroller because libraries are closed.
The ebook of Side Scroller. Yeah, the ebook has no germs whatsoever.
None at all. Rural Farm Boy just made it here. Let's get right into it. We only have a limited amount of time because it is, of course, lunchtime. And some of us have to get back to work. Some of us have to get back.
Let's get to the Star Wars.
Okay, back to living around. So we're more than just, we're waiting. People are joining us, Brock. We have to give them time to join us on the live. That's what you're not familiar with the live. you give people the time to catch in as they start getting off of their break. Rez is here now. We've got.
When are they gonna get to the fireworks factory?
Exactly.
Also, guys, there are only 6 likes, 7 people. Star Wars. People are looking for what to do while they are home alone. Star Wars is perfect to do. We're going to talk about entry points into Star Wars, Brock, and I will Google Star Wars and see what's up in the news. But Brock, right now you're at home. Your roommate Joe, who's very clean at this time of the year, is not familiar with Star Wars. What would you use to introduce him to the universe that is Star Wars?
That's a good question because, like, I always think about this with kids. It's like, do you do it the way the films came out? I feel like if I have 2 children, God willing, one day, the first one, I'm gonna make them watch he or she, whatever his or her pronoun is. I'm gonna do it the normal way, the way it came out, and then the other one, I'm gonna make them watch chronologically, he or she, and I want to see what happens. It's almost
a great experiment.
Sorry, what'd you say, Andrew?
That's a great experiment.
Yeah, it's a great social experiment. But because I think as much like New Hope, obviously, that's where you want to start. But I think like it's starting to show its age. Like maybe I don't know. Like not quality wise, I think the films still look beautiful. You know what I mean? But like, I think socially, you're like, I think people are bored of like, let's go save the princess, even though Leia is a very strong female character in my opinion. I don't know, just a thought I have. My gut reaction, though, to answer your question, would be, I think A New Hope. I really do.
Fantastic.
Andrew?
Here's a thought, okay? Bear with me. You might let me know if you think this idea is stupid because I'm not 100% convinced that it isn't. Imagine you got a kid who's like 7. They've never seen Star Wars before, but they love to read. Would anybody consider giving them like the novelization of A New Hope, making them read that, and then be like, you want to see the movie now? I wonder what that would do.
No kid would read, so that's the first error.
I guarantee that kid would sit through the movie and be like, this is garbage. In the book, it was blue 5, not red 5.
Probably what would happen. I'll say I do know a 7-year-old who was introduced through Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith was the entry point. Excited, super stoked. Favorite Star Wars movie now is Rise of Skywalker. I agree with Brock. A New Hope's where you want to start. I always wonder this, how kids feel about the original trilogy because they're dated. You know what I mean? Like for us, they're like, yeah, they're the best and they're classic and this. But a kid watching, is that like the equivalent of me watching like Abbott and Costello? Like it's black and white. You know what I mean? Like our kid's gonna be like, I'm not watching that. It's black and white. Is that how they are now? Like I'm not watching puppets. I don't want to watch a puppet. That's where I'm always wondering myself. I think Rebels is a great starting point. I think for a youngster to get into Star Wars, and if you're dealing with someone who's not a huge Star Wars fan, but you're like, I want them to consume Star Wars as much as possible during this time. A lot of adults are video game players, so I'd say like a Jedi Fallen Order or a Battlefront, depending on how they are. But Fallen Order has the story, it kind of has the lore and all of that could potentially find a non-Star Wars fan addicted to Star Wars afterwards. As someone who's not finished the game, have you guys both finished it?
Yeah.
No.
Brock, how far are you right now? Have you played it since the last time we
talked? I have played it. It came out the same day as Pokemon Sword and Shield. I replayed that game twice now. It's funny you mention Rebels because now that we've been isolated, I've been rewatching Rebels, and man, it's great. Like, sorry, Clone Wars. I think Rebels is Dave Filoni's finer work, even though like Mandalorian, I guess you could start to put into there as well. But I don't know.
I love Rebels.
Charlie Skywalker says he's named his fish Sorry Bliss. That is an amazing name for a fish.
Wicked.
Fish is it? Anyways, moving on.
Do like a few years ago do our top 5 pet names, like Star Wars names that you would name your pet? Didn't we do that a few years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think
And
Kit Fisto for a pet cat is still my number one.
Yeah.
Charlie, I'm going to make a documentary about your life, and it's going to be called A Fish Called Zori. You're welcome.
Unbelievable. But Andrew, you have finished it. You say it takes about 12, 13 hours to beat if you just
If you play like me and you go to every nook and cranny, yeah, it'll take you like somewhere in the low teens, around there, that many hours. If you just plow through the story, less time. But you'll have fun either way.
Yeah, but so the storyline, Andrew, in terms of story, where would you rank that in ways of getting a casual Star Wars fan into Star Wars? Like, you use that. It's someone who loves video games. Like, you're gonna like Star Wars after this. Would you use that as a catalyst for them?
That's a good question, man. See, a casual fan, I don't know, because the story is very. They did a great job of drenching the story in canon. You know, there's little like Saw Gerrera, the Inquisitors, different things. Like, it is rooted in new canon and not like, you know, super well-known new canon like Rey, Kylo Ren. I'm talking like deep levels of lore here. So a new casual Star Wars fan, like, I feel if I got one of them to be like, hey, or play this game, they'd be like, this is fun, whatever, this is cool. But I think it would just kind of be, what's the word I'm looking, kind of like a in one ear out the other kind of thing for them, because they're like, all right, cool, I got to swing a lightsaber around, I got to jump through trees. Because they're casual, it wouldn't be as big a deal. See, what we see is, oh my God, I'm fighting an Inquisitor. Oh my God, I'm on the Great Tree on Kashyyyk. What they see is, yeah, I swung a lightsaber at a person in black and I jumped on a tree branch. So I think the casual fans will enjoy it just as a decent, fun game. But the story is so lore-driven that it's really made for people who are dorks like us who obsess over all this stuff. And I think, I'm not going to spoil what happens at the end in case somebody doesn't know and they want to know.
I actually don't know what happens at the end.
Okay, so I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not going to give you details. But there are things that pissed me off about Force Unleashed that they correct in the end of this.
They correct.
Yeah, they didn't take the easy way out and do what Force Unleashed did. They looked at Force Unleashed and said, that shouldn't have happened, and they do it differently.
Okay, interesting. But do you think, Brock, that, like, maybe in Fallen Order and other Star Wars, that there are things that non-obsessive fans, just casual fans, will go in and maybe find themselves saying, oh, I find that character is actually really cool, and then there's a chance for them to go back in time and look at maybe Legends or whatnot and find out more about those characters? Anything that jumps to mind in that regard? Maybe from Rebels watching? Like the Bendu?
I don't know. I think, like, when you enter that kind of thought process, you're just in altogether. I think it's more of, it's like if a new person likes Star Wars and they're like, oh, there's another Star Wars thing, I'll jump into it. I don't think there's anything specific per se. I guess like that's the same concept of jumping into a book. So like you could read the book jacket or the back of the book to see what it's about. But I feel like the first thing you see when you look at a comic book or a book or whatever, you see the cover, right? And you're like, oh, that's interesting. And then maybe that engages you. But like, I guess that's like just everything with just watching any kind of franchise or like storyline, I suppose. But no, I don't know. I try to have this conversation with Reham sometimes, and she's like,
that Reham, of course, is
going
WTR.
too deep. You're going too deep. She likes it, but yeah.
Brock, did you introduce Reham to the movies? Like, did she watch them for the first time with you?
I like to believe I did. When I first met her, she was like, oh, no, I don't care for Star Wars. And then I wooed her. No. She started watching before we like officially started dating. I was smitten with her pretty much right away.
Brock,
But
I want you to write a book about
Or-
this relationship one day.
yeah, she would what she would do was like live tweet, or no, I guess it was Snap. She would live Snapchat her thoughts. So I've gotten a lot of snaps of a picture of like a video of her TV with whatever's happening, and then her talking in the background.
Was there anything that when she saw it for the first time or experienced it for the first time, she was like, Brock, this is really cool. Tell me more about this.
No, not really. No, with her, like she's always been fascinated with villains and stuff like that. Cause she's like, I can think like them, and I'm like, you're evil. No, she loves Vader. Like she loves Vader, and I don't know if she really liked the prequels per se. I can't remember her thoughts on the prequels because I feel like she wouldn't really care the Hayden Christensen style. No slam against Hayden. Yeah, she loved Vader. That's all I can really remember.
Vader is the greatest film villain of all time because it's just everything about Vader's awesome. All right, let's every day during these live streams we have a fulcrum word, the magic word. You have to collect all
Ooh.
5 of these words, and you email us on this coming Friday, which is the 20th is on Friday. Email us on Friday, March 20th by 8 p.m. Eastern. You can email us at rebelscumbags@gmail.com. All 5 of the words in the email, and you will be entered into a draw to win Star Wars High Republic, Light of the Jedi, the Charles Soule book. Brock, you are not eligible to win this, but I do want to talk to you about it. So anyway, Andrew, do you have today's word?
Yeah, I do have today's word, and I like today's word. I'm glad you gave it to me to say. Here's the thing. I'm going to try to do my best impression here. Forgive me. I don't care what universe you're from. That's gotta hurt. That's my best Fode, because Fode is the coolest guy in the galaxy. He gets to talk about our word of the day all the time. Our word of the day is pod race.
Pod race. Fulcrum word of the day, pod race. Yesterday we had a word. We will not reveal what that word was. Now you can go back and watch yesterday's if you can't remember. So every day there is a word revealed. Today's word, once again, is
pod race.
Pod race. Brock, what was
Is
that
pod
word?
race hyphenated?
What?
Is pod race hyphenated?
It doesn't matter. You can put it 2 words, 1 word, hyphenated. I don't think it is. I think it's just
It
one
does
word.
matter.
It does not. As long as you know what we said, it does not.
Did I ever tell you guys the story, the pod race story of lunch at my grandfather's house many, many years ago?
No, I don't think so.
What were you eating? Meatball sandwich?
It was probably like pasta fagioli or something like that, because that was usually what he made.
No.
But we were
Gabagool.
we were sitting around the table. We used to go to my grandfather's house for lunch on Sundays. My dad would pick me up, and it was me, my dad's wife at the time, and then my grandfather, my aunt, and my grandmother. And we're all sitting around the table. Everybody is like a super old school Italian person. Nobody in that room was a Star Wars fan except me. And this was like summer of '99. Like we were fresh off the Phantom Menace. And we're sitting around this table eating lunch, and it's really, really quiet. And everybody's just eating and nobody's talking, which is weird for an Italian household. So I decided to break the silence by doing my best Jake Lloyd. And I looked around and I said, has anybody ever seen a pod race? Just to see what reaction I would get.
Oh my god.
My grandfather literally looked up from his plate and he was like, ah. That was it. That's the end of the story.
That's the. And he's a writer, everybody.
Yeah.
He's a writer. All right, guys. I googled Star Wars while Andrew was enlightening us on his past. Star Wars series and Jurassic World have abandoned production at Pinewood Studios due to coronavirus. No surprise. There's workers at the world-famous site, which is also the home of the James Bond films, were told to leave because of the coronavirus pandemic. Productions thought to have been affected include a Star Wars spin-off starring Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not Ewan McGregor. Obi-Wan Kenobi. This article is legit. Which is being made for a new streaming service called Disney Plus. Latest Jurassic World movie Dominion is also now believed to be on hold because they were shooting for 6 months, I believe. However, Pinewood remains open for business and is not known if other films on the site have been shut down or if staff have been allowed to continue working. A source told The Sun, so this is from the sun.co.uk, a source told The Sun online that filming just stopped today and staff were sent home. This must be because of Idris Elba. They were like, whoa, it's hitting. Staff are being told the productions will now be on hold for 30 days starting from Monday. A spokesperson for Pinewood declined to comment on individual productions when contacted by The Sun online today. However, they said Pinewood Group are continuing to allow guidance set out by the government and the studios remain fully operational. The news of a shutdown came after Prime Minister Boris Johnson urged all Brits to stop non-essential travel and contact with others in a chilling statement yesterday. So that sounds, we just had one today in Ontario from our premier. Is it the premier? It's the premier. Basically saying restaurants basically closed. You could do takeout and that's about it. So I don't know. Does any of this surprise anybody that Obi-Wan Kenobi, which whether or not it was in there or not, is being delayed for a minimum of 30 days?
Nope.
At this point, the idea of the Obi-Wan series being delayed is the norm. So, I'm not.
I feel like it's only mentioned there for the clickbaitness of having Star Wars in their article. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, like, I don't know how far into it were they really building building sets, I suppose.
Probably.
Yeah.
Let's go here. Have you guys seen the new Clone Wars promo? Apparently Ahsoka is returning quickly.
Ooh. No, I did not see that.
Yeah. Lego appears. This is What's Up Star Wars. I'm just Googling. Anybody in the chat have anything they want to hear Brock talk about? Only Brock. No one wants to hear what Andrew has to say.
Have you guys heard about the rumor that Apple might acquire Disney?
Yeah, no.
Ooh, wow.
Oh. It's
that was old.
It's from yesterday, and I don't know how legit it is. I saw it on Screen Rant, so probably not.
Hollywood Reporter has an article on it.
Hollywood. Okay, so it's getting there, but it's just apparently Disney's stock crashed because of everything. So it's cheaper than it's ever been, and now Apple is kind of eyeing it like a hungry shark. So I don't know. I don't like monopolies, so I just hope that doesn't happen.
Well, I know in Bob Iger's book, he does talk about him and Steve Jobs, how they did talk about kind of merging at one point, and he believes that if Steve Jobs didn't pass away, that something like that probably would have happened. I don't think this is gonna. I don't know.
I don't think anybody wants to spend any money right now at all.
It's such a weird time. Like everything is unprecedented right now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something for you, Brock. This is from Cheat Sheet. We had a Cheat Sheet article yesterday. Why Chewbacca needed protection from hunters while filming Star Wars. This is an old story. Everybody knows this, right? Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that's not what I thought this was at all. This kind of, I feel cheated right now. It's because they thought he was Bigfoot.
Yeah, no, I read that. I almost put it in the Hollow News when I was like, I feel like that seems silly. I get it. Like he does like kind of like, oh shit.
I think
but, like,
didn't he have to wear like the color around him or something until they shot, and then he always had somebody with him as well.
Yeah, there's always people with him. It's sort of like, but wouldn't there be a warning while they're shooting that like in that area that there's people shooting both kinds? Like, one, why would you shoot during shooting season? But then also, yeah, people panicking that's also like it's Star Wars. It's the third movie of like at the time and still today one of the biggest series. And this is like what is Return of the Jedi was Blue Harvest, right?
I think so.
That was the code, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
even though they called the Family Guy Blue Harvest for the first one. Wouldn't they just have like I don't know how it works in a forest. So I know that if you have like a location in a city, you just lock the whole thing down. You think they just have securities like, please stay away. You wouldn't want to ruin Star Wars.
But they're in the woods though. You can't have security, around the entire.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, wouldn't you just pay for a chunk of? I mean, like,
Yeah, but if
how much?
a hunter's walking through the wilderness, right? They're not, and they might cross over there or something. That's.
So if it's a worry of he's getting shot by a hunter, because I wasn't sure if it's just like creating hysteria of like someone like, oh, that's that's Bigfoot, watch out. But if it's hunting, it's like, why would you shoot during hunting season? Like, what do I know? I'm not in the film industry, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it just makes sense. Like, you don't. But anyways, yeah, I mean, there's not much to the story outside of that.
Well, I want to know who the crazy gun-toting idiots are who, upon seeing Bigfoot, their first reaction would be, "Let's kill it." Like, if I thought I saw Bigfoot, the last thing I would want to do is be like, "Let's take it off the face of the earth." Like, no, keep it there, study it, make it more populous. I don't get it.
I gotta also remember that like this is a time where like you don't have a smartphone in your pocket, so you can't videotape anything easily. But
this is 1982 or whatever, right? 81 maybe. So way before that. Also, look, I go for walks all the time. It's not hunting season here, but I hear the gunshots go. I changed direction I went through a trail. I changed direction because I heard gunshots and I was like, well, I don't feel like dying right now. And if I am going to die, it's going to be because of a bear. I have an air horn and a hunting knife on me. I'm safe at all times. But like, yeah, I heard, and my dog was like, what's going on? And I was like, we should not be here. So we went, I had to turn around. I have no idea. I think I know who was shooting, like property wise, but I don't know where I was because I was just in the woods and I don't know where they are. And do bullets just stop after like 100 feet? And they like I'm just worried that they're gonna shoot into like the air and it's gonna land on my head. I'm like,
well, I know they're angry and they have little fists like in Super Mario, but I don't know.
That like they're like Bob Moms. Oh wait, not Bob Mom. There was a Billy Bullet, I think it's what they were called.
I like the ones in Roger Rabbit too with the cowboy hats.
I remember playing Super Mario World on Super Nintendo and realizing if you were high enough, you could jump on those bullets and they died and be like, wow.
It's quite brilliant.
Apparently, though, Peter Mayhew like confirmed that like maybe 5-6 years ago in one of those AMAs where like, hey, did this actually happen? He's like, it can confirm, and that was that. That was all that was. I wonder. Huh? They must have answered this by now. How hard is it to get his like mask, helmet, hair helmet off? Is it easy? Like, is it just pull it off and that's that, or is it like anything else?
Yeah, I feel like the inside is kind of like it's like a bike helmet. Like it's streamlined now, so he can just without any discomfort to him, they can just kind of.
Every time I watch behind the scenes, he's never got that mask on.
Yeah, that's true. He's got the black around his eyes. Yeah. That should be a Halloween costume. Chewbacca without the mask on, but the black around the eyes. I mean, I have the bodysuit. I could do it.
You should do it. If Halloween might be canceled though, so don't get too ahead of yourself. I would. I think they should make a Funko Pop of that. I would get that Funko.
Behind the scenes Funko Pops.
Peter Mayhew BTS Funko would be. I think that'd be awesome. I'd be down for that. By the way, Brock, I talked about this yesterday, and my review goes up on Scavenger Scum tonight at 7 p.m. right here. It's the Rise of Skywalker, Legacy of Skywalker behind the scenes documentary with the digital copy, and it's going to be on the Blu-ray as well. 2 hours long, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's very fantastic.
Oh, cool.
Did you like the Director and the Jedi?
I don't think I ever really watched it. I did find that I had it, but I haven't watched a deleted anything or extra on a DVD or Blu-ray in a long time. Even though, like, you buy it with the digital, it's there. So
yeah, I know that's. But so I watched that one and I really liked it. But I remember watching it, going, well, if you hate Rian Johnson in this movie, this is going to make you like double down on those thoughts. And when I watched this one, I was like, if you hate J.J. Abrams and The Rise of Skywalker, you're going to double down. The difference between the two that I really noticed is Ryan Johnson is like, this is how we're doing it, blah blah. Like he's very like confident, and he's like, nope, we're doing Star Wars like this, right? Where J.J. Abrams, he's like that, but he's it's J.J. Abrams. He's like, yeah, we're gonna have a good time. The thing that I loved about this one was every single person involved in this movie, from Kathleen Kennedy right down to extra number 597, loved the experience and was having the time of their life making the movie, and the joy that everybody's having, it bleeds through the screen, and it's actually a lot of fun to watch. I said this on Twitter to AdaChat. It's like the two documentaries represent the films that they're kind of connected with, right? Where The Last Jedi is like, it's kind of like dark and serious, and like it's like very isolated about this, and then this was like, we're just gonna have a good time, and you really feel it. But I would definitely, for all Star Wars fans, whether you like Rise of Skywalker or not, I think this is a documentary worth watching, it just to see how much fun everybody's having. And look, Mark Hamill's in it, and Mark Hamill goes and visits the Babu Frick puppet, and he's like, whoa, look at this, and he's like into it, and I don't know why he's there. They never explain it. He's just there, and you're like, all right, we're following Mark Hamill on the Babu Frick set. So it's pretty cool to see all that.
I feel like Mark only shot for like 2 days, but then they just couldn't get rid of him. He was just like wandering around. He's like, wow, what's this? Actually, it's like picking up Zori's helmet, and she's like, Mark, I gotta go shoot. Like, wow.
I think honestly, so in this, they go back and they show you clips from like behind the scenes of the original trilogy. And he's like, when I wasn't on set, I would go in and I would watch them build the Yoda puppet. And he would do that, and they're like, yeah, Mark comes in, and so they show you that, and then they show him now. He's like, look at this thing, and but it's just the care and the love and the passion that everybody involved in this has. Like the Pasana stuff, they had like thousands of extras, all of them like practicing, all of them just super excited to be part of Star Wars. It's awesome.
And let's be real, if any of us got cast as a Star Wars character, that would be us. Like we would be doing that on set all the time.
Tom Brady just retired. That's Rachel just sent that in. Shapoopy, Tom Brady. Tom, let me type it in. Breaking news. Can somebody do breaking news music?
Faking news.
Wait a minute. Tom Brady. Oh, this is old. I don't see him retiring. Rachel, if this is fake news, I'm not going to be too
Rachel, have you led us astray?
I like, what's the chat been talking about? There's so much going on. Zori Bliss Fish. Those are not for hunting, James. Do you guys?
Poorly Clover. He's saying, I'm keeping in mind that the documentary was made months ago, not since the Trosh reaction. So what does that mean? You're saying you're not going to enjoy the documentary because everyone hates the movie? Explain!
Well, I mean, the documentary is the making of, so it's happening while they're on set.
That just seems a little negative, and we don't do that here.
I know the documentary, I would say, if you don't like the movie, the documentary is probably going to just make you not like it even more. But I think, honestly, if you go in, though, and you just watch it, just forget the movie that it's about and just watch them creating this thing. And I say on Scavenger Scum, my favorite part of the documentary was how they made the sinking sand, the quicksand. That segment for me was just really cool and inventive, the way that they put that together. And I was like, oh wow, all right, it's all like practical, and the way they build it's super cool and whatnot. But yeah, you see just like everybody, like Oscar Isaac, like he's like giddy when he's like, whoa, Ian McDermott's playing Palpatine. You could just you just see it all in them, how excited they are. And then of course Chris Terrio sticking his foot in his mouth. So you get everything in the documentary that you can absolutely ask for. But there's no bloopers. I will say that there are no bloopers, which is that like I don't know. Do they do bloopers anymore? Is that still a thing? I feel like I haven't seen a blooper reel in forever.
Yeah, it has been a long time. Remember Pixar used to do them like in the credits? Like they would make blooper reels for the credits.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, that was the Monsters Inc. one was the best. Wait, guys, screen rant. I don't like going to screen rant, but can I? I click this. 10 unfair Star Trek versus Star Wars comparisons.
Oh God, what kind of time constraint were they under that day?
They literally screen rant's like, nope, everyone has to work from home. Write whatever you want and we'll post it. Here we go. 10 unfair Star Trek versus Star Wars comparisons. 10. The magic use of force.
What does that mean?
I don't know. The two franchises handle.
Somebody got paid to write that, folks.
Okay, here we go. This
Sort of. Does that mean like? Does that mean like? Oh, we just explain it by saying, "Oh, the Force made it happen." Is that what that means?
Well, I'm gonna read it right now. I just clicked on this. Everyone knows that the Star Wars universe revolves around the use of the mystical energy known as the Force. This was described perfectly by. Okay, this is all like verbal diarrhea. It surrounds and penetrates us. Okay, you're seriously. The important thing about this is Star Trek's lack of any higher energy or power. Instead, the show explores many facets of religion and its forms. The two franchises handle these ideas very differently, which doesn't lend itself to a fair comparison. Trek takes a more grounded approach, while Star Wars isn't afraid to lean. Because it's a fantasy. Lightsaber or phaser. Okay, this is something that somebody on my Facebook was like, phasers are better or lightsabers are overrated, and somebody goes, and then they're like, well, what's better? And they said a phaser. And I didn't respond, but, I mean, because it's stupid. But also, a lightsaber would deflect the phaser. So, that would happen.
All I know is these clickbait aggregates are really stretching.
Words as weapons, currency. Okay. The Empire versus the Federation, slow pace or action heavy. All fans are equal. Warp speed versus hyperdrive, and real world issues. And there's a picture of the picture they're using for this one is the best. It's Shatner Kirk with Leonard Nimoy and another Romulan and Abraham Lincoln. And phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to try to put this on the screen for everybody to see because I think this is something that most people should be looking at. I don't know. For me, the Star Wars versus Star Trek argument has always been kind of dumb. There, I just put it on the screen for everybody. Like what you like, don't like what you don't like, and they're not comparable because one of them is a fantasy, the other one is what's we're about to head into in real life because coronavirus is going to turn us on to Star Trek.
Ooh, hey, Star Trek's probably one of the best, brightest depictions of the future there is. So that's not a bad fate. Could have been worse.
Sure.
Yes.
It's probably the only thing I can. Literally, I think it's the only thing I can think of where it's like a sci-fi shows us the future and it's not a dystopian nightmare.
Yeah,
I like Wall-E.
Wall-E is actually the real world is heading in that direction.
You know, we should just be going on cruise ships because that's working out great right now. Four Leaf Clover says that he's gonna watch the documentary so he gets joy back. All right, fair.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I think
I'm glad.
forget.
That's all I'm worried about.
Put your negative. There are things though that if you didn't like aspects of it, you probably will grind your gears. So just I would suggest, for sanity's sakes, forget all that and just kind of accept it for what it is. Is how I would use it for sure right there.
What I really want more than anything is like the sequel trilogy, the Disney era sequel to how Star Wars conquered the universe, because that doesn't pull any punches. It shows you what they did right and what they did wrong. I want to kind of see that because I feel like it's not through any kind of biased lens. It's just like, here's exactly what happened, the good and the bad. Take from it what you will.
Yes.
Day out, Brock. How are you spending the rest of your day?
I might do some yard work. You know, might as well get a jump on that.
Yeah. I mean,
Pool weather is coming up. and we might not be able to leave.
No one will ever be able. I was supposed to see you this weekend. Not happening.
Yeah. Well, how different do you think this pandemic would be if it was summertime and everyone's like, I'm gonna be outside anyways?
I know. That's true. It's a good point. I mean, I'd be outside. I'm still outside. I'll go outside. Not in freezing cold. So springtime, I think, is actually a fine time for this pandemic. We're gonna have one. Cause summer, what if it's
Yeah.
super hot? Then you got to use all your, hydro on electricity on your air conditioning. It's not really the most ideal of circumstances. There is a little bit of a delay, but we're gonna wrap things up right here. Thank you everybody who joined us for your lunchtime. We'll be back tomorrow with another lunchtime chat. Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, Scavenger Scum will be hitting your screens right here, hosted by Aaron with some guests. And Brock, you're going to be on it. Andrew, you're on it. I'm there. We're all going to have a good time. That is taped, but you can check us there, 7 p.m. Eastern on Rebel Scum Podcast. Andrew, how are you spending the rest of your day?
I got to finish doing my taxes, so fun.
All right.
Lisa needs. Then.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that's not right. I was saying, someone think of the children. Taxes. That's it. Wrong Simpson quote. Anyways.
Simpsons you can watch on Disney Plus. All right.
Yeah.
That's all for us here. We got to go back, get our lunch, get back to work, or do yard work and do your taxes. And until next time, may the force of others be with you.
Always.
Hooray!